What's up, KidPak? Pastor Hannah here, and I am so excited to be joining you for week 3 of At the Movies. And today we are talking about a movie I love, Migration. So I thought we'd come to this pond, be in the habitat of the ducks, as we talk to you about our favorite family of mallards, Mac, Pam, Dax, and Gwen. They are a family with an incredible story. We first meet the Mallards in their home, this beautiful pond where they have built their life and never left. You see, the dad, Mac, is very, very comfortable where he is, and he is terrified of going anywhere else. Ducks typically migrate every year, but the mallards have never left the pond. And so we find a new family of ducks comes to visit their pond on their migration journey, and Dax and Gwen are mind blown to meet a new family of ducks with a rich travel history from all of their migrations. So Dax, Gwen, and Pam rush over to Mac to tell him all about these incredible stories they have heard and ask if they can go on their own migration journey of their own. But Mac is terrified of going and leaving the pond and the safety of all they know. This disappoints the family, and they are so upset that they can't go out beyond the confinements of this pond. They want to see the world, but Mac is paralyzed by his fear. And so eventually, after some convincing and some reflection, Mac decides that he is going to take the family on a great migration journey for the very first time. Which brings us to our first point. Step outside of your fear. Mac was terrified of life beyond the pond. He had some reasons to be afraid. There were certainly obstacles they would face, but nothing that was too great for them. But he was paralyzed by the fear of the obstacles and the unknown that were in front of him. And sometimes we can be the same way, living paralyzed by fear of the unknown, or being uncomfortable, or stepping outside of what we're familiar with. Maybe that looks like being afraid to try something new, or to step out and to talk to someone about Jesus, or to go somewhere that you've never been before. We can all be held back by our fear, but what we're gonna learn from the Mallard family is that there is so much more on the other side of our fear. And that's so true for us. When we step outside of our fear, there is so much more for us to see and for God to do through us. Think about Joshua and the Israelites. If they never would have gone out into the place where it was uncomfortable for them, where they were afraid to go, they never would have made it to the promised land. But God told Joshua to be strong and very courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And that is true for us. We can confidently step outside of our fear and know that God is going to be with us. So now we pick up with the Mallard family, continuing on their migration journey, and they hit some bumps in the road, but they make some really great memories along the way. And slowly but surely, Mac is realizing that he can do so much more than he ever thought he could, and that there's a whole world on the other side of his fear. But that takes us to our second point, to keep pressing on. And the Mallard family kept pressing on. They were faced with obstacle after obstacle after obstacle and some really scary situations along the way. In fact, they run into this chef who's trying to cook all of the ducks, and they barely escape. But as they are on this journey, what Mac realizes is he's so much braver than he ever thought he could be. He continues to press on. He continues to keep moving forward with the goal of making it to their destination. And in our lives, when we face obstacles or challenges or bumps in the road, we can be tempted to run back and hide away and to want to stop in our tracks and not move forward anymore. But what we're going to find with the Mallard family is true for us, that when you keep pressing on and you continue to have courage and to trust in the Lord, that we will find that there is so much more, again, on the other side of our fear. So keep pressing on and press forward and continue in this race that God has called us to. And the Mallards do just that. They continue on and they pick up a ton of friends along the way. They meet this gigantic community of ducks where it seems like everything is perfect. They have everything they need, and it all seems a little too good to be true. And the chef that they met that was trying to cook the ducks is actually coming for all these ducks. And so this time it seems like all hope is lost because everyone is taken by the chef except for Dax and Gwen. And here, Pam and Mac are really in a tough spot, and it seems like all hope is really lost. In fact, Pam, who was brave the whole time, is beginning to lose hope. And this is where Mac uses all he has learned along the way in this journey to encourage Pam that they can keep going and to not give up. And when it seems like all hope is lost and there's no way of any redemption coming, Dax and Gwen come to save the day because they were watching their parents' bravery the whole time and learning from it. And they come and rescue not only Mac and Pam, but all of the ducks, and they're able to continue on their migratory journey. And that leads us to our third point. You can help others along the way. We can help others along the way as we learn how to be strong and courageous, how to not shrink back, and to keep persevering. We're able to help other people who need to learn from our bravery. And as they're watching you and taking notes, their bravery begins to build, and they're able to say, maybe I can be brave like that too, which is exactly what Dax and Gwen did. And they came and they were able to help rescue their parents and all the other ducks. And so they were able to continue on their journey to Jamaica. And it was a very happy ending. And it'll be a happy ending for you too, KidPak. Even if it means stepping out in a place where you are uncomfortable, or going on the other side of your fear, or doing things you never thought you could do. Maybe you face some obstacles. Maybe you come upon things you thought there was no way you could overcome. God is with you. God is for you, and He will never leave you nor forsake you. And we can rest in that, knowing that He holds all things together and He is before all things. So we can confidently hope in Him. And because of that, because we know the one who holds it all together, we can rest in that our ending will always be good. And the Mallard's family ending was pretty good too. Well, that's all for this week of At the Movies. I have had so much fun watching Migration with you guys and getting to talk to you. And I can't wait to see what we have in store for next week. Bye, KidPak.